But just look around us. Since the beginning of time, man has had the desire to build, to construct, and to learn.
Yep.
And I believe that that is something that God instilled in every single one of us since the beginning, because God, He is the creator. And He instilled in us a creative being that we want to create, that we want to build. And I love what God even said Himself in the book of Genesis. Well, this is during the Tower of Babel. It said that they didn't have stones to build, so they made bricks out of the clay and fire. It said they have no mortar, so they used slime. I have no idea what that was referring to. But when God seen that...
Mud.
What's that?
Probably mud.
Could have been mud. I don't know. But when God seen this, He had the realization, and He spoke these words. He said, nothing will be impossible for man. Anything that they imagine, they'll be able to do. And that's the truth. That's what God spoke. And we see it today. Flying, that was a fantasy, man. That didn't exist. To be able to communicate to people, wireless communication for the longest time, that wasn't a possibility. The internet and electricity for everybody, and the water systems that we have. Granted, they did have, irrigation systems back in that day, but not as sophisticated as they are today.
They dug it by hand.
Yeah, where we have water towers that are able to bring water straight up.
Yep.
Where the water flowed, where they dug a trench, that's where it went.
Yep.
They were limited to however high the source of water was. But the way we have it now, it's amazing. It's fearful what man has been able to accomplish and what God has allowed to do.
Yep.
One argument that somebody had made in the past was, why didn't God give us people what we needed sooner, such as medicine and what have you? When really God did give what was incredibly revolutionary for the time. Men didn't understand what penicillin was. They didn't understand, these deeper things. But they did understand the laws of the Old Testament, where God forbids certain things to eat. There was a reason why He forbid that we eat things that didn't have scales on them, such as only eat fish from the sea. You don't eat the snake. It's because there's certain people, if you were to take one bite of crab meat, it would kill you. If you took one shrimp, if you eat shellfish, my sister's definitely allergic to it. If she eats it, she'll be in trouble for her life.
Yeah.
So God chose to spare us and all that. We see where it says all fat belongs to the Lord. And all these things in which we're supposed to do, it wasn't just because of God said so. There was a reason behind everything that He did. What now we discover today is the 21st century, and we're just now learning about heart disease and how cholesterol affects our heart and closes up our arteries. When they knew about this in biblical times, because God said for these things to be so. God gives us what we need when we need it.
Amen.
This is going back to that story about the man who gave his daughter money for the shoes. At what point will I give you what you need? 2 days before you go, a month before you go, or the day that you go. Just so God will give us what we need. And then I X'd out of my notes by accident. It's just amazing how far the Lord has allowed us to come. And a lot of the things that we have, it wasn't just somebody sitting around and they discovered. I believe the Lord showed these people a lot of the things that they have. Look at Tesla. With the copper coil and modern electricity today, with the battle between alternating and direct current. It's just amazing what the Lord has allowed to happen. Anyways, moving on. The important thing is that there is no other name, for there is no other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. I love that word, that choice of words, where we must be saved. That shows you the drive that's in Peter's heart right there in the moment. That it isn't something that he necessarily just wants to do. It's something that he is compelled to do. That he feels in his heart, this is absolutely my destiny and what I am to do right now. That it's not just a want, that it's indeed a must. I must do this. That I must preach the name of Jesus Christ so that people might be saved. It says, now, when they saw the boldness of Peter. Now this is going back into the way he addressed them in verse 10. And when they saw the boldness of Peter and John. And I love this because it shows what Peter spoke, but it doesn't go into what John spoke. There's a lot of things that are in the Bible that were written about, or that happened that weren't written about. And I can only imagine what John was saying to the other Pharisees while he was being accused, or if they waited out a turn. It says, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men. They marveled and they looked and they took knowledge of them. And they had been with Jesus. They were blown away because they knew who they were. That's why it said they took knowledge of them, because they knew they had been with Jesus. They knew that these were just fishermen, that these weren't anybody special. These weren't any rabbis. These were not anybody to look up to. Yet the people followed after them, and they spoke with power and authority. And that's when they realized, I love the fact that they said that they took note because they were with Jesus, meaning Jesus had to have been where they got this knowledge from, where they got this power from. So even in that instance, they knew that it was the Lord that provided them that power. I'll read it again. It says, now, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled and took knowledge of them that they had been with Jesus. And beholding the man which was healed, standing with them, they could say nothing against him. And I love the fact because it doesn't say that he was standing by them, or that he was standing, amongst the crowd or whatever. It says that he was standing by them, implying, or with them, that he was standing with them, as in he was being interrogated with them and questioned with them. And then I love what it says next. Again, something to point out is the fact that they saw him standing. And behold, the man which was healed, standing with them. They could say nothing against him. But when they had commanded them to go outside, out of the council, they conferred amongst themselves, which means they didn't have anything to say. They were sitting there, looking stupid because they couldn't say anything. So they said, we just need a moment. And they had to discuss it amongst themselves. Well, when they finally came back in, or in the 16th verse, it says, saying, what shall we do to these men? For that indeed, or a notable miracle hath been done by them, is manifest to all them that dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it. This particular verse is why I believe that one of the people, because it does speak about the Pharisees and all their family, their kinsmen and what have you, were there. This is why I believe that one of these men, or the man who's speaking even, was saying we can't deny. I believe that he was one of the men that carried this man to the gate that was beautiful. Because it said that the man was lame since birth, and that this man was carried daily to the gate. That happened to be what we would call a church today, right? So this implies that if it was somebody who was always going to the church, it's probably one of the Pharisees' helpers or servants. And it just so happened that all their kinsmen were there. And this man said, we can't deny it. Because the person that carried this man to this gate every single day had seen that he was healed. This is a man, we're going to learn how many years he carried him. For 40 about it says. But that it spread no further, saying, what shall we do with these men? I find it funny because even though they seen that they came in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, and that they were able to do these wonderful, wonderful things, they still were trying to conspire against them. What shall we do to these men? They thought so highly of themselves, and they felt so threatened by what these men were able to do, that there's just wicked people. I can't imagine being able to see these miracles taking place, to know the power of God, to be accused of being the ones who